Welcome back, I'm Carrie. This is Keep It Simple DIY. I'm currently getting some chicken drumsticks into some bags for the freezer because I got some fantastic deals at King Soopers this week. They had a ton of different meat on sale, so I took advantage of those deals, and I figured that today we would get everything prepped and ready for the freezer together. And I think I might do a little bit of like freezer meal style prep with some of them, just a little bit. Let me wash my hand off. So I got 1 pound of chicken drumsticks. These aren't usually our favorite, but I've realized recently that putting things with skin, like chicken with skin, in the air fryer is really good. So I thought I'd get 1 package. They were $5 a package, which comes out to about $1 a pound, which is a pretty good deal today. And then I also got 2 pork shoulders, which were buy one, get one free, which isn't always a good deal, but this time it was. They came out to be $1.50 per pound. Let me get these in the freezer, grab out the pork. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to take the pork off the bone because we're a family of 2 and something this big, we would never be able to eat it all, and we don't want that much of the exact same thing. So I need to get this out of the packaging, and one of you actually told me to use a pan so I didn't have the juices going everywhere, and that's a great idea. So I am doing that. So this came out to $1.50 a pound. It used to be that you could get this for $1 a pound when it was on sale, but I'll take $1.50 and then I'll save the bones and we'll make broth out of it. Probably not today. Today I'm just wanting to get this preserved. I also got, I don't want to spill it. Even though it's on there, I still don't want to spill it. I also got 10 pounds of ground beef. They had it on sale for $3.99, which is a fantastic deal. And I put it immediately into the freezer and I thought about it and I'm like, dang, I should have kept some out and then cooked it, because I haven't had cooked ground beef in my freezer for a very long time, and I used to do that all the time. So I'm starting to remember my old ways. I'm like, we got to get back to that. So I did some research on Pinterest to find some delicious recipes, and I think that's what I'm going to do with some of this. I'm going to cut some just into cubes, and then some of it I am going to make like a meal out of it, because recently I did marinated meats in the freezer. For the first time, we did chicken that we could grill, and we actually really loved that. We only have 1 of them left, and so I'm like, well, I could probably do that with pork too and use it for like the crock pot or something else on, a winter day, or any day really, but like, I kind of think of like crock pot pork meals as winter, or really anything. So I'm going to cube this up, and then we will make it into some recipes.
While I'm chopping up the meat, I thought it'd be a great idea to share with you what recipes I'm going to be using. So what I did was I scrolled through Pinterest and I saved a bunch of pork recipes to a board, and I did save different types of recipes for ground pork and also for diced pork, and I decided to only do diced pork on this day. So here's the recipes that I'm going to be doing. I am going to be making a maple syrup and mustard glazed pork, and the reason I'm doing that is because I recently did a honey mustard chicken and it turned out fantastic, so that one will hopefully be fantastic. I'm also going to be making ranch pork bites and then air fryer pork bites. And so air fryer doesn't really say what flavor, but hopefully those ones turn out fantastic and a little bit crispy. I don't know exactly how I plan to cook all of these, but there's tons of different options, and realistically any option's going to be delicious. I mean, what I've thought through so far is I could put them in the oven, I could put them on the stove, I could put them in the Instant Pot, on the air fryer, in the crock pot. Only thing that really doesn't make much sense would be the grill, but I think it's going to be delicious. So the other 3 recipes that I'm going to be making are pineapple pork tenderloin bites, and then also Mongolian pork and honey garlic pork and rice bowl. And so I will make sure to add, rice or sides or the pineapple or anything extra when I go to make it. Today is all just about getting the flavors in, but I am super excited about these meals and having them ready in the freezer. And we not only get these meals, but we get a few extra bags of meat as well that we can do anything we want with later on.
I got just about as much meat as I could off of the bone. I'm going to get this, I found another spot. I'm going to get this bone in the freezer because I will use it to make broth at a later date. This is how much meat we got off, and then I still have 1 more of these. So I'm going to cut up the other one the same way, and then we will get to the next step. We did it, we got all the meat chopped up. That's a ton. I have the bones, I'm going to get these in the freezer. And then I'm trying to be strategic about how I want to prepare all of these. I know I want to do about 1 pound packages. I know I want to do them in these, but my dilemma is if I just put the meat in all of them first, then I don't know how many is gonna be what. But I'm figuring this out. Okay, I think I have an idea. I've got my computer here so I can tell what I'm going to put in them. And I'm just on Pinterest. Okay, I was debating on how exactly I want to do this. I think I'm going to label them first and then put the meat in and then put whatever I'm going to add in. But because I'm going to do the labeling first, I need to know what I'm putting in them. So I have my list of all of the different things that I'm going to put in them, and I'm going to start labeling. I think I might need a new scale. It just says 8s across the board, so we won't do that. Let me try new batteries. The batteries didn't fix it, but I was walking by and I kind of hit it with my hand just a little as I was putting the backpack on and it worked. So, all right, we will take it, put this on ounces, and I'm going to try to put about 1 pound in each bag. I don't know how many bags I'm going to need, so I'm probably going to have to do some more, but I have all these labeled with the different meals that I'm putting in them, and then we will fill them up after. Tara, come on. With all the goodies over here. So I'm just going to start getting 1 pound into each bag. Forgot to open them first. Dang. Still trying to figure out the exact process I'm going to take. All the ones that I want to put different ingredients in, I've done, and then I have this many left. So I don't know exactly how much that is, but I think I'm going to set that to the side and get all of these ones done so I can get everything off the counter, and then we'll package these up. So I'm going to start with maple mustard pork, and this one's easy. It is just salt, pepper, maple syrup, and mustard. Pepper, salt. I'm hoping this is fantastic. I usually don't really do much of the honey mustard, maple mustard, but I made honey mustard chicken and we made it on the grill. It was delicious. That was from my last chicken freezer meal. So that was a huge win. That's probably good. I'm going to close it with a lot of air in it, and then I'm going to mix them up. I'm doing 1 pound packages because then that's enough for us to eat it 4 times, and then we won't get sick of each meal. And I haven't tried these, so we'll see how we like them before I decide if we're going to do this again. I'm thinking the rest of the meat I'm just going to do without any seasonings. I've been going back and forth in my head, but then if I really like something, I can just add the ingredients when I take the meat out. And I still don't have to do the chopping the meat part for the next little while, which is fantastic. I did time myself on the second, what do we call that? Piece of meat. And it took me 20 minutes to cut it up. The first one I think took a lot longer. I was just slow, I guess. Next, I'm going to do the one that's called Air Fryer Bites, and this just has a bunch of seasonings. So we are going to add in some salt, some pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, paprika, and Italian seasoning. And this is the one that I'm most excited about because I'm interested to see how this will turn out in the air fryer. I think that's so cool. And I like that I can get this seasoning on here now and I don't have to like get my hands all over the meat on that day. I can just like dump it out right into the air fryer unless there's a lot of liquid. That could be famous last words. We'll see. This one's done. Just gotta mix it up. I think we're pretty well covered now. Next up, I'm doing the ranch pork because that one's easy. It is just add in a packet of ranch. I have a packet minus like a tablespoon, which will be just fine. Like maybe I'll try to get the seasoning, around a little better. Next up is pineapple pork, and I am going to use the zucchini pineapple that I have canned, and I'm going to add that separately, so not today. So what I'm going to add in here though is a little bit of garlic. I'll probably just dump like this and a jar of the pineapple into the crock pot all at once. We have some salt and pepper, not paprika, just pepper. And it calls for chili paste. I just threw my chili paste out because it was from so long ago. I have more in my cart, but I don't have it yet. So I'm just gonna use some sriracha. And then we need some brown sugar. And my brown sugar is fresh out of the freezer, and so it's a little bit hard to get in here, but once it thaws, it stays so moist. That's a lot of brown sugar. That's okay. And the last thing that we need is soy sauce, and I'm going to use cocoa aminos because soy sauce apparently gives me migraines these days. So it's kind of like a teriyaki type of thing. Okay. Double check the list. Yep. Trying to break apart the sugar. I don't know if this garlic pork I don't know if this pineapple pork called for garlic. I don't think it did, or maybe I just used garlic powder, but I feel like it could use some garlic. Oh gosh. That's better. Okay, next up, Mongolian pork, which is basically just like a teriyaki. This is what made me think about the garlic. I was like, wait a minute, we didn't put garlic in the other one. So we have some garlic, some ginger, and it calls for soy sauce and brown sugar. Oh gosh, that's a lot of ginger. I am not a huge ginger fan. So let me think through what I want to do here. It's just gonna be really gingery, I think. Going to add some coconut aminos. That's a lot of ginger. And then some salt because cocoa aminos doesn't really have a whole ton of salt, and then we'll add some sugar as well. And you know, I might actually add a bunch of meat into this one. That way it balances out how much ginger I put in there. There we go. Salt. Mix this around a little bit. Now for how I'm going to cook these, the jury's still out. I might put them on the stove and just like saute them. I might put them in the crock pot. I might put them in the Instant Pot. Probably won't do all of them in the air fryer, but what I could do is put a pan and like bake it in the air fryer or in the oven. I guess you could do a bunch of things. The only thing I wouldn't do is grill because these are just bites. Okay, last but not least for the marinades is, all right, the honey garlic pork needs, of course, garlic. And then salt and pepper. We're gonna do parsley and red pepper flakes. Done with these. A little bit of sriracha, a little bit of lemon juice. And then about a 1/4 cup of honey. You know, I might do a little less than a 1/4 cup because it always turns out too much honey flavor on things. So go for like 1.5 tablespoons and I think that'll be good. All right, last one, mix this one up, and then all we have to do is bag up the rest of the meat, and then we have saved ourselves so much time in the future. Now this did take me quite a while today. It probably took me, what time is it? It probably took me about 2 hours, but also I'm kind of dragging today, so on a good day maybe it would take me a little bit less. But either way, that's 6 meals that are basically ready. All I have to do is add them in a crock pot or whatever with a vegetable, and then maybe make some rice as well. And then I have a bunch that are prepped and ready to go. So what it really is saving me is all of the time that it would take me cleaning everything up every single time if I had to cut it every time. All right. So now the question is, how much do we think we have left? And I'm thinking maybe 4 or 5 pounds. Where did my... It's in my hand. That was funny. So maybe I'll do 4 of these. Is it 4 or 5 pounds? I don't know. Let's see. Pork. 20, 24. Guess worst case scenario, I'll just have to wash my hands and do that again. We're remembering this time. Okay. Really? All right. Last step of the way, we're almost there. It's the home stretch. What I really should have done, I'm kind of kicking myself for not cooking up some ground beef and just having cooked ground beef. I mean, we can do it on a different day, but that would have been nice. Well, it looks like we were off by 1. We'll see how it goes writing on it after, because I don't want to wash my hands and then come right back in. guys, we did it. We got 6 freezer meals ready to go. We got 5 chopped up, ready to go pork that is just super convenient. We got 2 things of drumsticks. We also have some bones to make some broth, and we're doing things. I need to get this all put away. I'm going to use my freezer meal freezer for the ones that have the different flavors, and then I'm just going to put everything else in my meat freezer downstairs. So this has been super successful. Let's see. So if I ended up with 11 pounds of meat, if we're not counting the fat and we're not counting the bones, it comes out to a little over $2 a pound. And then I'm also going to be getting broth out of it though. And this will probably make about 6 pints worth of broth, these 2. And so I'm gonna wait until I have probably 4 more in the freezer before I make broth. But that still turns out really fantastically, especially these days. I think I used to be able to get pork loins without the bone for like $1.99 a pound. So I feel like this is pretty comparable, especially knowing that we're going to get the bones as well. I did not render the fat down. I did hear that you could do that. I'm not ready for that kind of project yet, but someday I might be. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here and you haven't yet, please subscribe. I'd love to see you. If you're interested in seeing how I have used meat just like this to make sausage, I will leave that video here. And then if you're also interested in seeing how I've done freezer meals like this but with chicken, I will leave that here. Thanks so much for being here. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.